One thing to hate about the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rodmotive MT. That's right, even though the Hyundai Santa Cruz is awesome, there's one thing to hate about it. But before we get into that, there's a lot to love as well. You know, first of all, the awesome styling of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. I mean, it's a pretty cool looking truck if you can get over the uniqueness of it, right? It's kind of like the Jeep Gladiator. When the Jeep Gladiator first came out, I wasn't a big fan. And honestly, it's probably because of the Jeep Gladiator that I actually like the Hyundai Santa Cruz. I kind of got over that uniqueness hump, if you will, and can appreciate the Santa Cruz for what it is and its awesome styling. Number two, it has a really powerful engine. You know, it's a 4-cylinder turbo. And honestly, if you watch any of my other channels, you know I wasn't a big fan of the 4-cylinder turbos. But I think it really depends on what vehicle you put it in. And Hyundai has it perfect in the Santa Cruz. I mean, when you stop on the pedal, the accelerator, it goes. I love that. 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds. In a truck, and yeah, I do consider it a truck, I think is just awesome. Number three, upscale interior, especially for a truck. I mean, they didn't cheap out on us. You know, they didn't give us all the industrial looking or pedestrian styling inside of the Santa Cruz. It looks really good. It looks modern, particularly when you look at all the gauging and all that stuff inside. This is still a truck, right? It's terrific. And lastly, before we get into the one thing to hate about the Hyundai Santa Cruz, it has lots of storage inside and outside. You know, on the inside, you've got the center console area, not really that uncommon. In the back, you've got the under-seat storage. That's nice to be able to throw some stuff. In the bed is where it really shines. You know, you've got the bed trunk. I really love that feature, so much so that I think it should be included in every bed of every truck. You know, it just gives you that added space to be able to securely store things without having to put them inside. You know, it needs to be waterproof. I've yet to test that on the Santa Cruz, but it's an awesome place to be able to put stuff, lock it up if you want to, if yours happens to have a lock on it. In the Santa Cruz, it's locked if you have the tonneau cover, because the tonneau cover is locked and you can't access it that way. I think it should have a lock on it independent of that, maybe even just an electronic lock. Wouldn't that be cool? Also, it has the side storage. You know, that's one thing that we had in the Toyota Tacoma. For some reason, Toyota cheaped out and they got rid of the driver's side storage. And I'm talking about on the edges where the fender wells are. And you know, it's funny because they seem to have gotten rid of it for no other reason than money, to make a little bit more profit. And I get that. They are a for-profit business, right? But it's such a simple thing, and there's still space to have one there. You know, I did a video on the Tacoma. I actually put it back in. No problems doing that, just a little nail biting when I'm cutting out the composite bed, but it fits perfectly and you can easily put it back in if you want to. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the one or two things that people seem to hate most about the Hyundai Santa Cruz. The first is the touch screen. You know, people seem to despise touchscreen controls. I don't know why. I think the only issue with them, there's a couple. One, if they don't work right, well, that's a problem. I mean, they need to be very responsive. When you hit that little touch area, it needs to be immediate and it needs to work. I can see why people would get frustrated with that. Secondly, is a volume knob. You know, Honda made that mistake a while back in the Civic. They got rid of the radio volume control and people hated it. You had this little slide thing. It was kind of a touch push thing on the radio. And then also this weird kind of toggle thing on the steering wheel. People hated it. Honda did listen. Eventually, and not long after, they went ahead and put a volume control knob back in. People seem to hate the touchscreen. I don't know why. I kind of dig it. I think it's responsive enough that it works just fine. The other thing is the radio, depending on which screen you have, requires a cord for CarPlay and Android Auto. And this is kind of strange to me. The smaller 8-inch screen, which is what I have, has wireless connectivity for CarPlay and Android Auto. The bigger, more expensive screen, the 10.25-inch screen, requires you use a cable for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Why? It makes no sense to me that you would have a bigger, more expensive screen, but not have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto in it. It's another thing that people don't like, and frankly, I don't blame them, particularly when you can get a smaller screen that has that capability, but when you lay down the dollars and get the bigger screen, you don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's obviously that's something that Hyundai needs to correct with the Santa Cruz, and I'm sure they will. I'm guessing the next version or the next model year or maybe the model year after that will have wireless all around. And I gotta say that besides those two things, what else is there not to like or to hate about the Hyundai Santa Cruz? I think if they correct those things, it's gonna be the perfect compact truck. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you despise those things? Do you hate those things about the Hyundai Santa Cruz? Or you're neither here nor there, kind of like me? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about Toyota Tacomas, and Rob Motive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.